Hi, I'm Stefan Rodgers. This is my video CV. It's not intended to replace the traditional CV, which is also available. That's got the detail and the chronology of my career and so on. I just wanted to pick out a few career highlights and also bring my application to life. I spent most of my career with FMG Support. They're an outsourced business services provider and the second largest employer in Huddersfield. When I joined in 1996 in the telesales department, there were about 25 people. By the time I left the organisation in 2011, there were north of 400, so significant progression throughout that period of time. I went through the organisation from telesales into management positions, operations management, and a brief stint in credit control, culminating in going through the sales, business development, account management. And then in 2006 I got the top accreditation in the management development programme and wrote the business case for a new department, which was product development. And then I took on the role of head of product development. And then in 2008 I was promoted to the board as marketing director and I bought a stake in the business. And at that time we were also going through private equity investment as well. A very interesting point in my career. As you'd expect, the due diligence process is very wide-ranging. I was required to justify my strategic market development, product development, and general innovation around the organisation as part of that process, but also be personally assessed. And there are several meetings for several hours and lots of tests and so on as part of the senior management team that the PE guys are investing in. So I'm pleased to say that I added to the process rather than detracted from it, but a very interesting point in my career. Also very interesting as marketing director for 3 years to be on the board of a business with external investment. And it's interesting how the points of pressure are slightly different. The targets are obviously very challenging, but they always had been. But it's quite an interesting dynamic. So that was a great experience for me, particularly at that point in my career. From a product development point of view, as I've mentioned, I developed a number of new products and services. They are still those services generating around £900,000 a year in terms of revenue. And throughout my career I've also spent some time doing business development. One major client win that sticks in the mind was a blue chip client, Lloyd's TSB Auto Lease, a contract value of about 1.5 million, which was a real success. I think the final presentation was delivered by me with support from the sales director, but it was a great win. I was also heavily involved in a major public sector tender win as well. Again, in all of the face-to-face meetings and presentations I was required to be there and deliver, particularly on the values and vision of the organisation, and add credibility to the meetings. From a communication perspective, I'm passionate about communicating the right message to the right people at the right time. I've had media training by Patrick Jeffson, who was the private secretary to Princess Diana, and also Mary Jo Jacobi, who worked for many years with Shell. It's something I'm very passionate about whenever it came to communicating with clients, supply partners, or our guys internally. I was the board member who did that. I'm considered to be an inspirational leader, which has always been a source of real pride for me, and I can add real value in that area to businesses. After leaving FMG in 2011, I sold my shares and gained a significant multiple on my initial investment, which I was delighted about, so I decided to sell the shares and started my own business, which is Pippa's Pad Limited, which is designed to provide services to horse riders. My other half is a keen horsewoman. The first service we created was horseriderclaims.com, claims management for horse riders who've been injured. It wasn't a success for a number of reasons. What was great about it was we really learned a lot about social media and the use of Twitter, Facebook and Facebook ads, Google ads, search engine optimization, and some more obscure social media such as Pinterest, which is now starting to come to the fore. But that was great, and it built on my previous marketing background. So I now genuinely believe I can assist companies in strategic development of digital and social media. During the time when I started Pippa's Pad, I was asked by a previous supplier of mine, a digital media agency in Huddersfield, to come and help them out. There was an opportunity to grow that business, but it needed restructuring. One of the key things that I did while I was there was a full rebrand, but also I got the guys to put the prices up and change the way they price projects. I am absolutely committed to stopping businesses selling on price. Most businesses, particularly in the service sector, are not commoditized, so there's no reason why you should sell on that basis. I think businesses really need to understand what it is they sell, what value they really add, and price accordingly. I'm also absolutely convinced that people can use the culture of their organisation as a differentiator, and the key thing is to be able to distill that down to its essence and be able to communicate it out to clients. And I think if you can do that, you will win. Whilst I was working for the guys at the digital media agency, I then started to look around at what else we could do with Pippa's Pad Limited, and the next service we're looking at is equine insurance. So we'll keep trialling different products and different services until one sticks. So, to recap, I'm an experienced board director, particularly with external investment from private equity firms. From a marketing perspective, it's one of my core skill sets. Communication, I'm absolutely passionate about, and I can add value in that area to any business. From a business development perspective, whether that's out-and-out sales or even more importantly client intimacy and engagement, again is another one of my core skills, and strategic product development and market development too. I'd like to work for a business that's ambitious and dynamic. I'd like to work for a business that isn't afraid to try new things. I think businesses need to be innovative, and the reason is because if you're not, one of your competitors is. I don't mind if that business is fairly new and is looking to ramp up and grow quickly, or whether the business has been around for a number of years but wants a fresh look at its opportunities, either with existing products to new markets, new products to existing markets, or what I would call new products to new markets, and needs some strategic direction in order to achieve that. My industry experience is fleet, insurance, telematics, digital media, as I've talked about, functionally marketing. So in any of these areas, but not particularly in those industries, I'm a firm believer that you can often add a fresh perspective coming from outside of an industry. I'm looking for a senior manager position or director level position, and I'd absolutely consider at this point an interim role too. That would appeal to me. Sometime in the future I'd also look to potentially take on a non-exec director role. Just briefly about me. I'm 38, I live in Homebridge with my partner and my young son, who is about to turn a year old, so he's taken up rather a lot of my time recently. We live in Holmfirth, which is summer wine country. You can contact me using the details on the CV if you've already seen that, or if you're watching this first or only viewing this and don't have a copy of the traditional CV, it's best to contact me by email at stefanjohnrodgers@gmail.com. That's STEFANJOHNRODGERS. And thank you for watching, taking the time to look at this video.